Welcome to Someone's in My Fruit Cellar podcast.
Where the trapdoor creaks open and horror classics come back to life.
I'm Blake.
And I'm Loni.
Each episode, we dive into the blood-soaked brilliance of classic horror films, breaking down the 10 scenes that sent shivers down your spine and etched themselves into horror history.
From demonic possessions to final girls, we'll dissect what made these moments unforgettable and crank up the dread with the perfect soundtrack to match each one.
And on our last episode, we forgot to tell people what we were going to do for our next movie, because the last one we had our guest on and it slipped our minds. And so since we were screaming at each other over forgetting to mention that, we decided to do the movie Scream. Okay, no, we weren't screaming at each other.
No.
But yeah, so we're going to go to 1996, the first Scream movie. I think there's 7 now, I believe. Yes. Even though 1 was also called Scream, but that was really Scream 6 or 5, I think. I'm not really sure why. Did they redo the movie? I don't remember why, because I don't think I've seen that one. I've seen some of the other. I don't think I've seen all the Screams. I've seen some of the Screams.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen them all. But anyway, for anybody who maybe doesn't know, it was American slasher film, or at least that's what they call it on Wikipedia, whoever wrote that up. Directed by Wes Craven, written by Kevin Williamson, and its stars. Some of the stars are David Arquette, Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, Rose McGowan, Drew Barrymore. I guess she's not really a star, but she was a star, and she was in this movie briefly, which we'll get to really quickly. And Skeet Ulrich and Matthew Lillard are some of the main characters. And we'll get to some other characters later, maybe, or at least one that I know of. But anyway, okay, Scream. Now, can you, I don't know. I don't really remember. I'm sure I watched it because I liked Courtney Cox because she was hot. I don't know, hot. I guess she was. And of course, she was in Friends. But I don't know if I seen it right away. I don't know if I care because I really like horror movies, obviously. But I don't know if I thought, is this going to be any good? Because it's got all these stars in it. Because I don't usually like having stars in horror movies. Even though Courtney, it was only the second year of Friends, or the third season maybe of Friends. But Courtney Cox had also been on Family Ties a little bit with Michael J. Fox there as his girlfriend for I'm not sure how long she was in it, but I know she was in that. Has Courtney Cox ever did anything serious? Not counting horror. I guess horror is serious, but she's done comedy. I don't know if she's ever really done much seriousness except for this movie too, but I don't really know. It doesn't matter. I just was thinking of that today, trying to figure it out. Do you remember when you first saw Scream or what?
It was released December 20th, 1996, right before Christmas. I was 16 years old at the time. So yes, I did go and see it at the movie theater. Because I wanted to see Matthew Lillard.
Now, why did you want to see him? What was he?
I thought he was cute at the time.
But was he in something else before? Or
nah, I was just the 16-year-old girl. I wanted to see good-looking guys in the movie. But I knew Drew Barrymore was going to be in it, and I really love Drew Barrymore because she's a staple of my childhood with E.T. But I was disappointed that she got killed off so soon. I was really hoping that she was going to have a bigger role in that particular movie, but I wasn't sure if I was going to like it at the time. I was more coming out of the 80s and all the great slasher films that had just come out of the 80s. I still think it's not comparable, but it's grown on me over time.
And I was watching a question and answer thing today on YouTube with a few of them. I don't know when this happened, but one of the fans said that this is the best slasher horror movie ever. And I think, no, it's not. You're young. No. So of course, it's probably one of the first ones you've seen. And that's probably why he's saying that. But anyway, I wouldn't call it. There was only,
Yeah.
I think there's 8 kills in this movie. Oh, I just ruined it, so I should have said.
Oh, you didn't ruin it. It is really popular with the Gen Z generation.
Yeah.
But for us, what we were exposed to as children, it's not comparable at all.
No.
Not at all.
This might be one of the first, because so many horror movies, it's like they don't know, they've never watched horror movies before. So this movie could be one of the first ones where they really, because the guy's got his rules, which we'll get to later about his rules for watching a horror movie and what you shouldn't do when you're watching a horror movie. And they've seen horror movies and stuff. So it's comical that they bring that into it. It's like zombie movies. When you watch a zombie movie, back in the old days, nobody's ever heard of zombies before. Every movie, it was new. It was a zombie. Nobody knows what a zombie is. But now if you have a zombie movie, it goes, didn't you watch Night of the Living Dead or whatever? You got to shoot their head or whatever. So now they know. So this is one of the first movies to do that. And I guess Neve Campbell's character, she's been in every movie, I guess, of this series. And I guess she's one of the early final girls, not counting Jamie Lee Curtis, of course. But I don't know. Would you consider her, is she a final girl? Do you consider her that?
That's a difficult take.
Because I asked, so I probably deleted it now.
I think it's her personality. I think because there is a psychological component to Scream, and I think she fits that role really well. Neve Campbell's a great actress. I do like her. Do you think that she should have swapped out with Drew Barrymore as the final girl?
See, except for E.T., I think at the time, I didn't know much about Drew Barrymore really either. I don't think. I don't know if she did a lot yet either. She did more stuff after. And Neve Campbell, sorry. She's Canadian, so that's good.
She's beautiful.
Yes.
Very beautiful.
But I never watched. She was on Party of Five. Again, I didn't look that up. I don't know if that was before this happened or not, but I didn't obviously watch that because that was whatever that show was. Even though Jennifer Love Hewitt was also on that show, which I did do, but I don't think I watched that show much.
But I feel like all these celebrities are not horror. They never picked roles in a horror movie, and this was a mashup of Hollywood celebrities who had never done horror. So
I can't remember what I first thought of the movie, like you mentioned about, because I don't like. Because if I watch a horror movie, like if Rob Lowe's in a horror movie, or not Rob Lowe, Tom Cruise or whatever, it's in a horror movie, I'm like, oh, I don't want to watch this because I know who he is. And even though I did watch a couple movies and it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was. There was one of them. I think Brad Pitt was in a zombie movie, Z Nation or Z, I don't know what it was called. But anyway, it wasn't too bad, even though I'm not a Brad Pitt fan or nothing. But I usually don't like to know who the people are. I like, because it seems more real. If David Hasselhoff from Baywatch was going to do a horror movie, I'd be like, that was stupid or whatever. Even though I'm not that he's a bad actor. But it's just, it's more believable if you don't know who the people are. And that's probably why I like B horror movies better than your big Hollywood things. But again, this movie's good and stuff. So I can't remember what I would have thought when I first saw it. I don't know if I had doubts watching it or what. I can't remember.
It depends who's the producer as well.
Yes, that helps that Wes Craven did it.
Yeah.
So a legend in the horror stuff. And he has a part in this movie, but we'll talk about that later. Okay, do we want to start?
Yeah, we'll start with the opening scene.
Okay. Now you picked the movie, so I'll you're going to be doing most of the talk.
So in the opening shot, there's a close-up of a telephone ringing as the camera pans up to Casey Becker, who's Drew Barrymore. And she's reaching down to answer the phone. A mysterious man's voice, now in the iconic horror movie film Scream, speaks to the blonde. And he tells her that he's on the porch. and tells her to turn on the lights. She turns on the patio lights and sees him. Not right away, but he's lurking around. The game becomes life or death, and Ghostface reveals he wants to play a game. And he tells her to answer correctly or her boyfriend will die. Is that how it goes?
Yes, her boyfriend.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know if she's seen her boyfriend yet, but he is tied up. Yeah, she has seen him. He told.
And that's Steve, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
No, he's tied to a chair and he's on the porch. And when she turns on the light, she sees that he's there. Now she's forced to play a game with Ghostface, who has her on the phone. She hangs up 3 times and he keeps calling her back, and that just agitates him even more until she sees her boyfriend. And he asks her questions about horror films, including Halloween. He asks who was the killer in Friday the 13th. She got the first one right. She got the Halloween one. He told her this is just a warm-up question type thing. I'll give you a chance to answer right. But then he stumps her and says, who's the killer in Friday the 13th? Casey answers Jason, and she's excited. She's Jason. Jason's the killer. I've seen that movie about 20 times. And of course, she's wrong. And we know she's wrong. The killer was his mother in the first film. And this mistake ultimately seals her boyfriend, Steve Orth's fate. And Ghostface kills him. He guts him. Meanwhile, while all this is happening, was going to settle in, watch a movie. She had popcorn burning on the stove. So now the house is filling with smoke. And Ghostface asks Casey to guess which door he's at. And he throws a chair into the house, breaks the door window, breaks the glass. Now he's inside the house and he tries to attack her. She fights him off and briefly escapes outside. She's standing outside the wall, still with the phone in her hand. She never let go of the phone the entire time.
Yeah.
But she sees a car coming up the road, which is presumably her parents who are coming home for the evening. And Ghostface appears at the door. Casey hits him. She tries to run away. Ghostface then grabs her and stabs her in the throat, which I think is interesting that he knew to stab her right in the trachea so she couldn't talk. So pretty smart. She falls to the ground and tries to fight him off some more. And then at this point, her parents arrive home. They're going up the steps and she's trying to scream out to her parents. But of course, her trachea is crushed. So she can't, her vocal cords are probably cut, so she can't speak. Her parents don't hear her calling out for help. They're unaware of what's happening. She can only make faint sounds. As she's lying on the porch, she removes the killer's mask. So she knows right before she dies who it is. Ghostface then stabs her. As her parents become frantic inside the home, they see the burning popcorn. They're wondering where their daughter is. And her parents attempt to call the police, but they can't. But in those days, if the phone was tied up, you remember, you could hear what was going on the other phone. So this is what they're hearing.
Oh, yeah.
They're hearing her making faint gurgling sounds as Ghostface drags her body across the yard with the phone still in her hand. Which I thought was funny. Her parents go outside and find Casey hanging from a tree. That's the first scene.
Yes. Now, I didn't make a note of that, but I don't know why she was holding on to the phone. Why didn't she just, when he kept calling her back, why didn't she just shut the phone off? Couldn't you shut those phones off? I think.
Yeah. Yeah, because her parents couldn't call the police because the phone line was already in use.
Yes, because it wasn't hung up or whatever. But why did she keep, if she was scared, why would she keep answering it?
Why?
Pardon?
Why keep answering?
Yeah,
that's a good point.
I realized that might not have stopped him, I guess, since he was outside the house. And I also found it funny, she's running around the house, locking all the doors, But I'm thinking, don't you lock your doors anyway? I know this is 1996. I don't know. I guess that house is supposed to be out in the country or something like that. But if you're home alone, that you might lock your doors in the first place, not just when some killer calls you. And
Right. And why not run towards the road when you see your parents coming up to drive up the road? Why not start running towards your parents?
Yeah.
Even though he probably would have killed her anyway, but whatever.
And why have a lock on a door if you just have a door with a window that you could just throw something through and break it? But anyway.
He throws a chair. Oh, God.
Now, when I was watching this movie, all I'm thinking of is the movie Scary Movie. Because, you know the movie Scary Movie, right? Because Pamela Anderson was playing the part in Scary Movie. Actually, there was two of them. There was her and Carmen Electra, I think. And they were on the phone or whatever. And with got the Ghostface from that movie. And then I remember when the parents were driving home, the wife was given, the mom was giving the dad a thing, a Hummer there, we were going to call it, in the car. And so I'm thinking, because when I'm reading your notes that you said, where's that part? And oh, yeah, that's Scary Movie. That's not Scream.
There is a Scary Movie component, yes. And I think there's a lot of that going on in the film because of the obsession that Billy and Stu have with horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, I think that, I was going to say this relationship is over when her boyfriend got...
I thought about that last night. Completely over.
I made a note of that. Anyway, okay, so song. So in case, if you're new to the podcast, we pick a song for every scene that we talk about. So this song would go with the whatever. And I was trying, I don't know, this movie's kind of hard. I know most of them are hard picking a song.
They are.
I was trying to think of since they're playing a game on the thing, I was trying to think of a game, but all I could come up with was Motorhead's Ace of Spades, since it's like a card game. But I couldn't really, that's what I came up with anyway. And I've probably used that song before, possibly. I don't know if I have.
Yeah, I was second guessing myself too. I thought I might have used some of these songs before.
I guess it doesn't matter. And I think I have another Motorhead song later. I don't like to repeat groups, but it just came up. So later there's another Motorhead song. So anyway, what delightful song do you have?
My song is Butcher the Weak by Devourment.
But you're saying Drew Barrymore is weak?
No. Yeah, she's weak.
She fought better in Charlie's Angels than she did in this one. But anyway.
Yeah. I still think she shouldn't have been killed off so soon, though. I feel bad about that.
Yeah. And I was going to say, did you ever watch her zombie TV series she had?
No.
It was good. It was a comedy, really, but she was a zombie. And her husband wasn't a zombie. But they would go around finding people to kill so she could eat and stay alive.
Wow. I'm going to have to
can't remember. Of course, I should have, or I'll look that up while you're talking. And but it had 3 seasons, and I thought it was good. I liked it. It was funny. But anyway, okay. No, you can go on. Scene 2, and then I'll look up.
So scene 2. Now, this is the scene where we meet Sidney. And the scene opens with Sidney Prescott, played by Neve Campbell, at home. Her boyfriend, Billy Loomis, sneaks into her bedroom through the window. So it seems like this is something that has been ongoing, I guess, 2 years is what I gathered from the movie. They've been dating for about 2 years now. Sidney's dad knocks on the door to check on her because he heard her scream. She was startled when he came in. And she tells Billy he's not supposed to be there and tells him to hide. So he hides, and she opens her closet door to block her father in between the 2 doors from coming all the way into her room. Her dad reveals he's leaving for the airport in the morning for a trip. I don't know what trip, but probably a business trip, I was assuming. Billy and Sidney have a makeout moment after she tells her father everything's okay, I'm fine. but she stops him from going any further. He starts moving his hand up her leg and she makes him stop.
Tease.
We find that out later that he's frustrated because she won't have sex with him. But the setting then suddenly shifts to Woodboro High School, where they go to school. Sidney realizes there's a strong police presence and media presence at school. This really triggers her because her mom died a year ago. She was raped and brutally murdered. So she's still grieving the loss of her mother. She reunites with her best friend, Tatum Riley, which is Rose McGowan in the movie. And this is her best friend. Rose gives her the scoop of what happened, that Casey and Steve were murdered the night before. All the students are buzzing about the murders. Panic and rumors start spreading. The media presence grows, introducing reporter Gail Weathers, which is Courtney Cox. And she's wearing her nice yellow neon suit, which I thought was funny at the time. And I still think it's funny. She looks like a highlighter. But Tatum informs Sidney about the murders in class. Sidney sees the empty desk where Casey normally sits, and that kind of hits her hard. And Sidney is then questioned by Sheriff Burke and Deputy Dewey Riley, which is Tatum's brother in the movie. And they're interviewing all the students, trying to find out if there was any involvement with any of the students that maybe killed Casey and her boyfriend. The police ask about her connection to Casey and whether she noticed anything suspicious. The questioning quickly shifts towards Sidney's personal life, especially her relationship with Billy. So it seems at this point that maybe the police are focusing on Billy as a suspect, but it's not really clear at this point. It becomes clear the police are already forming suspicions about everybody. The scene shifts to the group afterward, talking about the details of the murders. And Stu, is it Matcher or Macher was his character name in the movie, which is Matthew Lillard. He over-explains how to gut a person, suspicious, and makes Sidney uncomfortable. She's sitting there listening to Billy and Stu talk about it. And Randy standing there talking about horror movies because he works at the rental store, right? Movie rental store that we did have at the time. We had to go to the store to get a movie. Then Sidney arrives home from school and she tries to take her mind off the situation by watching TV, but all she sees are things on the news about the murders. And then her mom pops up on the news again. So she decides she's just going to turn the TV off and take a nap or lie down on the couch to try to clear her mind of everything that happened during the day.
Yeah. One thing I'll add is the principal of the high school is Fonzie.
I know. I was waiting for that. I was waiting for you to mention it. I guess. Fonzie.
Of course, TV show. And there's more. I don't know if you have it in your notes, but I guess there's more. But yeah, there'll be more about him later, I assume. So we'll mention it too.
He's a very serious principal.
Yes, he was mad. Well, this is not there yet. Not yet. He's not yet mad. I guess he gets mad later. But there's also, we'll get to that later, so I don't want to keep jumping ahead. And Courtney Cox looked good in this movie, but I guess she's young, of course. Like I said, it's only her second or third season of Friends. And Rose McGowan, of course, who I forgot that's who it was until after I watched the movie over again.
She looks so different now.
Yes.
That's partly why. Yeah.
Yeah. And Jamie, I didn't, because Jamie Kennedy is the guy that plays, or that works at the movie place, and he knows all the horror rules and stuff. But I don't know, what is the name Jamie Kennedy from? I don't know. I've heard that name before, but I didn't think it looked like this guy. But I guess it is. But I don't know what he's been in, but he's been in lots of stuff, I think. But I didn't look him up. But
he's Randy Meeks in the movie. I like how they came up with these names, the character names, but I don't know. What else has he been in? That's a good question.
I thought he was in one of the American Pie movies, but I could be wrong. But anyway, I didn't think that was. It was just when I watched that thing on YouTube today, it said it's Jamie Kennedy. I'm thinking that's Jamie Kennedy, but I don't know. I've just heard the name before, but yeah. Anyway, doesn't matter.
I'm looking.
Pardon?
He was in Last Call. You ever watch that movie?
No.
He was in Scream 3. Malibu's Most Wanted. Son of the Mask.
Son of the Mask.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Doesn't.
Three Kings as Walter. Romeo and Juliet. 1996 as Samson. So
maybe
none
I'm
of
thinking maybe I'm thinking of a different name. Whatever.
Maybe, but I'm not familiar
Okay.
too much with his other stuff.
And before I forget, the Drew Barrymore zombie TV show was called Santa Clarita Diet.
I have never seen that.
You should watch it. It's funny, I think.
I'm going to watch it.
And it's gross and not gross, but it has some good kills and scenes in it too, which is surprising. But I don't know if it was Netflix thing or something like
Maybe.
that. Anyway,
How long ago?
not that long ago. Does it say here? It doesn't say here. Like probably 10 years ago now, or 5, or maybe not that long ago either. 5 or 6 years ago. But anyway, it's good. So if you haven't watched it, watch it. And I think she was good in it. And there's other people there you probably recognize, but I don't remember their names. But anyway. Okay, so is there anything else to add? I don't think so. Oh yeah, again, this scene also reminds me of scary movies because they put in the part where the boyfriend wanted to have sex and the girl didn't want to or whatever. So this reminded me of that too. And also he jumps in her bedroom just like in this movie. So it's just kind of funny. Because I think I've seen scary movie way more times than I've seen Scream. So yeah. I don't know what it would be like if somebody saw Scary Movie first and then saw Scream, not knowing about it. I don't know what.
It does remind me a lot of Scary Movie.
Yeah.
A lot of it. Yeah, it does.
Did you know this movie was originally going to be called Scary Movie?
Oh.
Yes, that's
interesting.
That's one of my fun facts that I thought I'd throw that out right now. But yeah, when he wrote the screenplay, the guy, Williamson, I think it was there, he was going to call it Scary Movie. So I don't know if the people that did Scary Movie talked to him and he told them that, and that's why they called it Scary Movie. I have no idea if that's how that happened. But anyway, yes, this was going to be called Scary Movie, but they changed it. Not sure why. I don't know if they said why they changed it to Scream, but they did. Okay, my song for this is I got a Canadian group here, Helix, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, my song is "Gimme Good Lovin'" because he's trying to get him some good lovin', or maybe not lovin', but something like lovin'. So yeah, that's my song.
I picked "Lack of Comprehension" by Death.
By Death.
The reason I picked it is because Stu and Billy are they're talking about how to gut a person, but Billy is really good at psychologically tricking everybody that he's not the killer. And he's so affectionate towards Sidney when she's uncomfortable about them talking when they were at school. And there's no way that I thought he was the killer when I first saw the movie. Oh, he's just one of those, he's very attentive to his girlfriend and cares about her feelings. And it was all a trick.
He just wanted to have sex.
They've been dating for 2 years. Come on.
Like, yeah, okay, yeah. And like later he said like that her mom, Sidney's mom, was a slut or whatever. I'm thinking, how come she's not one then?
She was afraid to turn out like her.
Oh.
Yeah. That's what she says later.
Okay. Let's go to
the next scene. We see Sidney falls asleep on the couch, waiting for her friend Tatum to come by the house. She had made plans with Tatum to watch a movie. Tatum does call before and say, I got practice and I'll be there around 7:00. But she doesn't show up at 7:00. So the phone rings and it's Tatum. And she says, practice ran late. I'm going to be there soon. I'm going to go rent a movie. And Sidney says it's past 7. She was really depending on her friend to be there at 7:00 because her dad's not home and she's alone. She gets off the phone with Tatum and then she gets another phone call right after. And this time it's Ghostface. Sidney thinks it's her friend calling back, but it's not. So she gets on the phone and everything's fine. She thinks Randy is trying to prank her on the phone. So she's having the conversation with him saying, nice try, Randy, nice try. And Ghostface asks Sidney what her favorite scary movie is and if she's alone. Sidney mocks who she thinks is Randy and tells him she hates horror movies. Ghostface then reveals he's not Randy and tells Sidney he's on her front porch. I don't know what it is about the front porch, but the killers like the front porch. As Sidney goes to check, she tells Ghostface he's bluffing, so she's trying to call who she thinks is Randy on his bluff. So she does go outside. They have a porch that goes around, so she's searching around and she doesn't see anything. The killer then mocks her and asks if she wants to die like her mother. And now this startles Sidney because she's still grieving the loss of her mother 1 year ago. So Sidney quickly realizes the danger and attempts to run inside, and she locks the door. Ghostface attacks her and slams her head on the floor. As he's preparing to stab her, she fights him off and then she runs upstairs. She does the thing with her door when she gets to her room where she opens the closet door to block her bedroom door so he can't get in. Ghostface then chases her to her bedroom. She's barricaded inside her room now. She tries to call the police, but realizes the phone is not working. So she attempts to contact police through her computer. Because in the beginning of the movie, you see her on her computer typing. She seems very techie-like for 1996. It looks like she was able to contact 911. In the movie, they say, 911, what's your emergency? Shortly after, Billy shows up at her window. He crawls through and Sidney tells him the killer is inside. Ghostface then disappears, which now I'm thinking it was Stu, but he's comforting her and they're hugging. But then she realizes his cell phone falls out of his pocket on the floor. Then she becomes really suspicious that Billy might actually be the killer and runs downstairs.
Yes. What was I going to say there? Now, I wonder, were they trying to kill her then, or were they just trying to scare her then?
I feel like they were trying to kill her.
Oh, okay.
And she got away.
So if she would have died, the movie would be over?
That's not how it was scripted, so. She got away because Ghostface slams her head on the floor. And she's just laying there, and he gets on top of her, and he's got the knife ready to stab her. She's able to fight him off, and then that's how she runs upstairs.
Yeah, thinking because she was a lot better fighter than Drew Barrymore was.
Yeah, definitely.
Earlier, and that's probably because she's Canadian. Why? Anyway.
Yeah, the cell phone though. What an ancient looking phone.
Yeah, I didn't make any other notes about the scene. So
there's not much going on in this scene other than it's the first attack on Sidney.
Yes.
And it's the first phone call that she gets from the killer. And I'm thinking that Casey was just a buffer to make it seem like it less obvious that Billy is trying to kill his girlfriend.
Yes.
Yeah.
But as you said, she was thinking it was him, maybe.
She did because she saw his cell phone fall out of his pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah. How is he going to call if he's on the...
Yeah. Sorry, my cat is on my table and I'm getting cat.
We love kitties.
She's lonely. Anyway,
She wants to be a part of it.
There was no cats in Scream, I don't think. Oh no, there was one cat.
Was there? And there was a dog barking.
Garage. In the garage, there was a cat. It went out the cat door, right?
Oh, yes. The orange cat.
Which we will talk about again.
We'll talk about later. Yeah, that's a funny scene.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so my song for this, I picked a Black Sabbath song. I picked Paranoid because of Sidney thinking it's her boyfriend. So she's paranoid. Yeah, because what else could I What's your song?
Mine probably doesn't match the scene, but I still like it. It's Engulfed in Excruciation by Defeated Sanity.
Defeated Sanity?
Yep.
I love all your death metal band names.
I am a death metal fanatic.
Okay. I guess we can move on.
So now we're in scene 4. And Sidney's boyfriend, Billy, is arrested in this scene. After she starts suspecting he's the killer, she runs downstairs. Billy runs after her, begging her to come back. Sidney runs out the front door where she's met by Dewey and the police. Now, remember, Dewey is Tatum's brother. Billy's arrested as he pleads his innocence. He says, I didn't do anything. I didn't murder anybody. After the arrest, Tatum does arrive in her red Volkswagen Beetle while the police are taking him into custody. And then reporters, Gail shows up to the scene, but they miss their chance to get the scoop. And she gets very upset with her very 50-pound overweight cameraman, as she puts it. At the police station, Dewey is searching for the hotel Sidney's father's reportedly staying at, but they can't find it because he hasn't checked into any of the hotel. And Sidney is at the police station at this point as well. And Sidney sees Billy through the window as police question him about why he had a cell phone in his possession. So now they are talking about possibly bringing up his cell phone records. He's interrogated by police with his father, Hank, which is Hank Loomis, present, and he continues to plead his innocence. I think he is not able to convince the police that he's not the killer, but then again, later on, we find out his cell phone records are clean and then he's released, but that's later on. And you can see the tension between Sidney and Billy at the police station when they're looking at each other through the window. She thinks he's the killer. She's dead set on thinking he's the killer at this point.
Yes. I was trying to find the line. Yeah, she says, move your fat tub of lard ass. Ow. That's like,
yeah. Like, I know you're 50 pounds overweight, but...
yeah, she says, when I say hurry, please interpret that as your fat tub of lard ass now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bitch,
what was his name, the camera guy in the movie? What was his name? Can't remember now.
Yes, Kenny?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Kenny,
that's what it was.
Running up with his camera, yes.
Yeah. But they missed the story.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't want to talk to him. Okay, I gotta go back. Sorry. Yeah, I didn't make any, except for that, I didn't make any other notes about the scene. Yeah, and I could have used the song Paranoid with this scene too, because she's still paranoid, thinking it's him.
Yeah, you could have. It fits.
Yeah. So I guess I'll just go right to my song. So with this song, I went with the Judas Priest song called Breaking the Law, since the scene was all at the police station, more or less, with Doofy. Oh, sorry, Doofy. Doofy is from Scary Movie, and this is Dewey. And of course, everybody does know probably Dewey, or I guess later on, but Gail Weathers and Dewey are now married. Not the characters, but the real people in real life. I think they're still married, as far as I know. I think they're still married. David Arquette and Courtney Cox. Anyway, okay, so did I say my song already? Yes, I did.
Yes.
Judas Priest, Breaking the Law. Sorry.
Mine doesn't fit, but I like it because it's funny. Chased through the woods by a rapist by Waking the Cadaver.
That's a song title?
Yeah.
Okay.
Billy's a rapist, right? Her mom was raped.
Yeah, but yeah, we don't know yet that he did it, though, do we?
I know. She
But
thinks
we'll find that out later.
We find
Why?
that out later.
And he did it because she had sex with his dad and broke up their marriage? Was that? I was thinking
And
he
his
was making
mom
that up,
abandoned
but
him.
that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, he had some mommy issues for sure.
Yeah. Poor boy.
Poor
Okay.
guy. In the next scene, 5, as I mentioned earlier, Billy is the perceived killer. And at this point, the news crew arrives at the police station. Gail, in her neon-colored suit again, runs inside to catch the story. Tatum is there, and she's comforting Sidney as Billy is taken away by police. As Billy is taken away by police, he's still pleading his innocence, and he's begging Sidney to look at him, and he tries to get his point across as the police are taking him away, and Sidney's still sitting there now talking with the police. The police then attempt to figure out where the killer purchased the costume, but they quickly realize there's no way to track the purchase because they said that this costume's pretty much everywhere and anybody could get their hands on it. They're convinced Billy is the killer at this point and hold him until they can track his cell phone records. And in those days, it took weeks to track cell phone records. Outside the police station, Gail and her cameraman, Kenny, try to find a way into the building. Sidney and Tatum leave, and Gail approaches them to ask questions. Sidney at first seems okay with it, but she does believe Gail has a hand in how things went after her mother's death because she wrote a book. Later on, we find out that Gail writes a book about how she believes that Cotton, the guy who's in jail for her mother's murder, is innocent. But at this point, Sidney's not thinking that this Cotton guy didn't kill her mom. She thinks that this guy Cotton killed her mother. So as Gail approaches, asks questions, Sidney punches Gail in the face.
No.
And poor Gail falls backward in her neon suit.
Cat bite. Okay.
It wasn't much of a fight. Gail is stunned, looking at her like, oh my gosh, you said, because Sidney says, it's okay, she's just trying to do her job. But then punches her in the face out of the blue. Then they go back to Tatum's house, Sidney and Tatum. The girls talk about whether Billy is guilty. We see that Dewey is home now, and he comes in and says, I'm going to bed. Let me know if you need anything. Sidney at this point is still convinced Billy is the killer. And they have a discussion about it. That's all I have for that scene.
Yeah, and this is still the scene. Like she answers the phone. You had that part in there, or is that in the next scene? Sorry. Because he phones her there.
It's kind of the same.
Oh, it is in the next scene? Okay.
But I split it up because...
Okay.
Yeah. It was hard to tell where to cut things off to start the next scene. Yeah. Okay. But I put it in scene 6.
Yes.
Because the girls are talking about it. And she says, Tatum says, you really think that Billy is the killer? Billy killed Casey. And Sidney does believe that he's the killer, which she should have stuck to that thought. She's convinced later on that maybe he's not.
No. This Gail hasn't started flirting with Dewey yet, right?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay.
Not yet. No. That's at the party.
Yes. Yeah, I get. She talks to him a bit before the party, but...
That's right.
She's just, I don't know if she's interested in him or if she's just trying to get inside
Was it at school when they first started talking?
Yes.
At school.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
they start a little bit flirting with each other at the school and then later on at the party. Gets heavier.
And I like Gail's dress because it's short. I don't care what color it is.
I just think it's funny that they chose neon yellow, but later on she's wearing a red one, which is a lot better. But
yeah, I don't know. And again, we're still in where I still could have used paranoid for this scene too. Because it's still all about, is Billy the killer, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I don't think I have anything to add about the scene because, yeah, the phone record thing is different now than you mentioned that. And it is now. Oh, there was something, but I don't remember what.
Billy is still in jail at this point because they haven't gotten the phone records yet.
Yeah. And
he's
he used
released
his
a little
one.
bit later on.
We haven't got to that. So. Okay, so my song is, I guess I'm still about, so I have an Iron Maiden song, and it's called Murders in the Rue Morgue, which I know it really has nothing to do with it, except the song Murders in the Rue Morgue is about somebody being accused of killing somebody when they really didn't do it. So that's kind of why I have that song. Okay.
Mine doesn't match, but it's so cool. It's Morbid Ataraxia by Putridity.
Cute. One of these scenes they have it's when they're out school, but they have Alice Cooper playing School's Out. I'm not sure if that wouldn't really, I don't know, I guess it would fit, but it was just about, and I don't think, was school out for the summer or was school just out for the day? I don't know when they were playing.
They ended up doing a school band. Remember, they let them out early because of everything that was going on.
Oh, that's right. That's
and
what they were playing.
They were like, yes, they were like, school's going to be out because, everything that's happening. I feel like they basically only had school in session to ask the kids questions and to interrogate them at school. Really?
Yes, because that hasn't ended yet because Fonzie's still with us. Okay.
Yes.
Let's go with number 6.
Number 6. So Sidney is at Tatum's house still, and she receives so this is the second call.
Yeah, yes.
Tatum's mother comes into the room and tells Sidney she has a phone call. Sidney expects that it might be her dad calling her finally because he hasn't really checked in and nobody really knows where he is. When she answers, it's Ghostface, and he reveals Billy is innocent and doesn't stand a chance with her, adding some more psychological drama to her life. Sidney pleads with Ghostface to leave her alone. So she screams when she first answers the phone because she's hearing this voice again, the killer. Her scream does alert Tatum and her mother, who check on her while she's on the phone with the killer. Ghostface reveals she placed the wrong man in jail twice, indicating Cotton and then Billy. He tells her she will find out soon enough who the killer is and that she's not going to get away. They're going to end up getting her too. Dewey runs into the scene, but it's too late to trace the call. He's in bed at this point, and of course, he's the last one to come and check on her. The next morning, Dewey tells the girls Billy is released. So this is where Billy is released from jail due to lack of evidence. They got the cell phone records. There was no trace of the phone that he was making the phone calls, so they released him. I think Sidney starts to think that because the cell phone is clear, that maybe she's wrong in thinking that he is the killer.
Yeah, she's too paranoid. Anyway.
Yeah, she is paranoid. He explains they're checking the cell phone records nationwide to try to find out who it is, but it will take time. Dewey drops the girls off at school where they are swarmed by the press again. Sidney sees Gail again, now dressed in red. He looks better in red. Sidney demands that Gail owes her mother. So they have a conversation. And Gail argues with her that someone had to write about her mother's murder because she thinks Cotton Weary might be innocent in her mother's murder. And Sidney disagrees with her and thinks that the right man is in jail. I think Gail's a lot smarter than she was given credit for in this movie, because she has an inkling that she doesn't know who the killer is, but she believes that Cotton is innocent of Sidney's mother's murder. And they have that conversation. Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I have for scene 6.
I know one, like I have the transcript open here, but I see they're missing a line. I guess maybe this isn't the most accurate thing either. But anyway, but when you said about the phone call and then she screams and Dewey comes out in, I don't know, just his shorts on or whatever, because he was sleeping and he's wet or whatever, but it doesn't have it in here, but I know he picks up the phone and he goes, hello? But that was kind of funny.
Yeah, and nobody was there anymore, right?
No, I know, but he was just like...
He was too late.
Yeah.
Too little, too late, Copper.
But, but that also was done in Scary Movie, where Doofy came out of the bedroom with a vacuum cleaner attached to his whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see. Do I have anything else about this scene? I gotta go back to my notes. Where are they? Here they are. No, I didn't have anything else. Yes, and this Cotton character comes back in another next one, doesn't he? Or I don't know. I don't know much about
for what now?
The character Cotton isn't.
Yeah, and I missed that he came into the movie.
This one or this one? You mean? Or the next one?
He wasn't in this one. Okay.
Okay.
I was confused by that. I wasn't sure if he was in this movie or not.
No, I don't think so. No, but I do think there is. I think the character, I could be wrong, but I think the character Cotton is in like one of the maybe number 2 or 3. I don't really remember. But like I said, I think I stopped. There was a new one out this year. I think I did watch it this year, I think. Yeah, there was a new one out this year. It wasn't bad, and Courtney Cox and Arquette were in it, but they weren't in it very much. Or I think Arquette was in it more than Courtney Cox was. But it was more about new, young people, hotter people and stuff. Anyway.
What was your song?
So my song for this is about how I think it was on the phone where he said that your mom was a slut or whatever, So that made her upset that this guy keeps calling her. So my song is by Ronnie James Dio, called Straight Through the Heart, because that got her straight through the heart.
This is where he admits and says to her, your mother was a slut, and more information is coming out that's giving themselves away because they know too much, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why was her mom a slut? I don't understand that, but whatever.
She starts to believe she was too, but I guess mom was a slut because she slept with Billy's father. We find out later that he tells her that, caused his parents to get divorced and his mom abandoned him. Boo-hoo.
Yeah.
Okay. My song for this scene is Annihilation of Mankind by Stillbirth.
Stillbirth. Okay.
I had a hard time picking songs, okay? There's not much murdering going on.
The movie is like, it's the same kind of, there's nothing changing in the story more. Like we have 3 or 4 sections in a row where it's just about who did it and thinking Billy did it, which of course
it's more psychological at this point. I feel like Wes Craven is trying to confuse us until the end.
Yeah. And this next scene is another one where I'll bring it up after you're done or maybe you'll mention it in your words here, but I'll let you go.
Right.
Number 7.
So Billy continues to claim his innocence. Gail believes the killer is still on the loose. And she mentions that during Sidney and her conversation. And she tells Sidney, and she has this motivation to prove that Cotton Weary is innocent of Sidney's mother's murder. At school, students mock Sidney for getting Billy arrested. And a student runs down the hallway wearing a Ghostface costume and scares the crap out of her. And Sidney runs into Billy, who continues to claim his innocence. They lock eyes and everything, and he walks past her. Sidney, she's starting to believe him at this point even more, that maybe he's innocent. In the bathroom, she's getting mocked even more. The girls are gossiping about her and suggesting she might be the killer. And they're saying that she's psycho and saying all kinds of mean stuff about her. She's in the stall hiding, hearing them talk about her. So after the girls leave, she comes out. She's doing her thing at the sink, and she hears a voice calling her name in the bathroom, which is a male voice. So that's creepy. She looks around the bathroom, and eventually she sees a foot drop from one of the bathroom stalls. He comes out of the stall. Ghostface attacks Sidney. She ends up escaping and runs outside. So now he's in the school. It's creepy. Meanwhile, this is where Gail and Dewey start to flirt outside. Sidney's father is still missing in the movie. Nobody can find out where he is. And I never thought, while watching the movie, I never even suspected that the killer took the father. I just thought I was like, where is he? Where is he? Like, where is the father? And I never made that connection, which is brilliant for Wes Craven. It's brilliant because I didn't think, oh, the killer took her father. But Sidney's father is still missing. Later, we see Principal Himbry, Fonzie. And this is where he hears a knock on his office door. He checks it. Nobody there. There's a knock again. Checks it. Nobody there again. But after multiple times, Ghostface appears, ends up stabbing and killing him. So this is the scene where the principal dies.
Yes. And now why did he kill him for?
Maybe because he was involved with Billy getting arrested. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know before he got killed, Fonzie, Henry Winkler, principal, but he put the mask on or whatever. And I think for when I was watching it again here this time for this, I was watching it thinking, is he trying to make it think, oh, maybe he's the killer? Like maybe it's actually him that's Ghostface, that Henry Winkler is Ghostface.
Yeah.
Then, of course, he gets killed a couple minutes later.
Right.
So he's not.
Yeah. But then which scene was it that he was cutting them up? He was cutting up the mask and saying, you want to act or whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
I think that's still in this scene because the guy was running through the hallways with the mask on or the costume on.
Oh, the two kids.
And he was yelling at them and said, you're expelled, because this is before, I guess, they had closed the school.
Yeah. So you don't suspect he's the killer, but then later he's wearing the mask and he's fantasizing. And then you start to think maybe he's the killer.
Yes. But
then he got killed. So he's not the killer.
Because he was acting like he was, like, because he wasn't acting like he was mad. He was mad at those two kids, and he seemed like he was a violent person, and he had the scissors, and it's, maybe he's a killer.
Yeah, and he was threatening to gut the kids, like, I should gut you, and he's taking the scissors, and he's going down the kid's chest. So I'm thinking, maybe he's the killer, but no.
Oh, I forgot. I was going to mention, I don't know, it was like 2 or 3 scenes ago, but you said about how the police said, that mask, you can buy that mask at Walmart or whatever. But why could you buy that mask at Walmart? Like, I don't understand that. Now I could see it. If for Halloween, you could go buy it because they have 7 movies. But during this movie, it's not, I don't know, why would you be able to buy that mask?
During this movie, I don't think there was a Ghostface costume.
No, I don't think so either. Like, I could see if it was a goalie mask and Jason, whatever, but of course, then you'd just be stealing the thing from that movie, so you can't do that. I didn't understand that part of that you can't.
That I didn't understand either, because 1996. And that was, I don't think you could get it. But in this, maybe where they lived, I don't know, were they in California? You could get anything in California.
Maybe, I don't know, but that face seemed original.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I think the Ghostface costume started after the movie, but.
Okay, and we saw the janitor cleaning the halls. Did you see that part?
Yeah.
Movie? And do you have?
Yeah, that was when the principal was checking the hallway.
Yes.
And only saw the janitor there cleaning. Yeah.
And did you notice what the janitor was wearing?
What was he wearing? Oh yeah, Freddy.
He looked like Freddy Krueger.
Freddy sweater. Yeah.
And of course, that was Wes Craven. Did you know that? Okay.
Yep.
I didn't, obviously.
Yeah, I picked up on it. I wasn't sure if I had mentioned it, but I'm glad you did.
It said, I was looking at like imdb.com or whatever, and it said that he was uncredited for that part. And it also said that Henry Winkler was uncredited. Why wouldn't they credit him in the movie? I don't understand it. He was in it 2 or 3 different times. And he gets killed too. I don't really know that, but like, whatever. Okay, so my song, I went way off here, and I went as a tribute to Fonzie, Arthur Fonzarelli. I have Jerry Lee Lewis. And a whole lot of shaking going on because, when he was stabbing him.
Yeah.
So that's a tribute to Fonzie.
That's good.
Who I think is still alive. Isn't he still alive? I think he is.
I thought so.
I think he's still going and he still does some stuff. But anyway, yes.
He must be in his 80s now.
Yeah, I don't even think I know what that song is, but I do know who Jerry Lee Lewis is, but I don't know if I know that song. But I was trying to think of a song that would have been played during Happy Days series and stuff.
Happy Days. How did that? I can't remember how the theme song goes.
Yeah, I don't want to. I'm not a singer, so I don't want to. But I did watch Happy Days all the time there back.
It was great.
Yes.
Nick at Night.
I even have I have a record. I have a record, Fonzie's Favorites, and it's got a big picture of Henry Winkler's face as Fonzie. The cover. And then
what's his famous lines, like or something like that?
Just
I can't remember.
Okay.
My song was "Ingesting to Trinity" by Visceral Disgorge.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Next scene.
We're in scene 7, correct?
No, 8.
8. Sorry, I was going behind. Yeah. So Stu tries to convince Randy Sidney's father is the killer. So we're back at Tatum's house. Sidney and Tatum discuss her mother's murder. Tatum begins to believe Cotton Weary is innocent and the killer is still out there. So now her best friend is starting to side with Gail. Gail is the first one to come out and say she doesn't think that Cotton is the killer. She's not making the connection. She's not seeing it, but Sidney is still believing that Cotton is the killer of her mother. Now, the scene changes to the video store. Stu and Randy argue about Billy standing there in the horror movie section with 2 women that I assumed he was flirting with because Sidney won't give him sex. He's flirting with some women there. Randy is starting to get suspicious, still believing that Billy is the killer. But Stu is there to suggest that Sidney's father might be responsible for the murder because he says to Randy, well, where's Sidney's father? How come we haven't heard about him? Well, maybe he's the killer since he hasn't been located yet. Billy overhears the conversation between Stu and Randy, and he confronts Randy because Randy is starting to think that he's thinking that Billy is killer. He thinks it's weird that he's staying in the horror movie section. That night, due to a curfew, because now there's a citywide curfew, they let them out of school early, told them they had to be inside by 9. Sidney and Tatum stop for snacks. They're at the store. Dewey and Sheriff Burt discover phone records linked to Sidney's father. Now, I don't understand that. Are they using his home phone? Are they using his cell phone to make these calls?
Yeah, I think they were. But they said they were, Dewey or whatever, said he was good. They were going to check everybody's phone in the country. I don't know how you get that.
Right. But Sidney's father's missing. He hasn't checked into the Hilton like he
No.
was supposed to. So I
Right.
don't know. Maybe he had a cell phone or something, or
They
a
must
car
have
phone.
kidnapped him like as soon as he left. Or maybe, I don't know how that
Right.
worked. Because he
Or
snuck
maybe
into
they're
a room
using a
that,
car phone because that was popular then. Those cell
Yeah.
phones in the cars. Because they had his car. But we don't know this yet.
yeah.
Sheriff Burke also notes it's the anniversary of Sidney's mother's death. And I believe it's the day before the anniversary at this point. He drops the girls off at a house party hosted by Stu. And Gail goes to the party with her overweight cameraman, Kenny. And she starts flirting with Dewey. Dewey says, I want to go check out the party. So they go inside and check it out. And Gail plants a camera inside the home to watch what's happening from the van.
Yeah.
And you can see when we get to the van that there's a 30-second delay, but it's not said until later.
Yes.
Tatum goes to the garage at this point for beer. She's going to restock everybody, but she gets locked inside. She goes to the door, tries to unlock the door. She can't get back in. She thinks she's being pranked, and Ghostface then she goes to open the garage door, and then it shuts as soon as it starts to open. So that's when Ghostface attacks her. This is the scene where we see the kitty cat too. He goes through his little cat door. But that's before Ghostface attacks her. She tries to escape through the pet door, but she gets stuck. And Ghostface then activates the garage door. The garage door comes up and crushes her neck. And she's hanging outside of the pet door. It kills her. But I feel sad for her because nobody finds her body until much later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the thing I noticed in that scene was that her nipples are poking through her sweater. I don't know if there was a reason, or if she had something put in there so that she could try to crawl through the door and she wouldn't hurt her real boobs.
Maybe.
But she's trying to crawl through the thing, and that's why I look like that. I don't know. It's just something.
She had all those beers too up to her chest when she was trying to get back there, so maybe it was cold.
Maybe whatever. It's just something a man notices. And yeah, Gail is flirting with Dewey now. And like I mentioned before, I don't know if she was interested in him or if she just wanted to get the inside information that the police person would have.
Because she's very selfish and self-centered, so I couldn't at that point in the movie understand if she was just doing that to get her way or if she actually liked him.
Yeah, she had her cameraman with her, but he was slob. No, whatever. Okay. Yeah, probably not the best time. Probably not the best time to be going to a party when there's a killer on the loose. But anyway.
And there was a curfew. They were breaking curfew. Oh.
But I guess as long as you don't leave the house, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I do know. I think is this still in the scene, even though it's not really a part of the movie, unless you. But somebody call. Oh no, they haven't got to the thing about. No, that's later. Never mind. Sorry. About he's saying the rules thing, but somebody calls and says Fonzie's dead. Well, he didn't say that. But
yeah, right now everybody's just partying. They're not watching. They're not in a group watching a movie yet.
They're just sitting around drinking. Which is why my song I picked is another Canadian group, and this is Teenage Hate. Now I might have used this song before, also. But the group Teenage Head, and they have a song called Beer Drinking Party. So that's what they since this love beer. And that's what there's a song called Beer Drinking Party. So that's my song.
Mine is Serial Herbicide by Extermination Dismemberment.
Are they playing the next church social? And
No.
I don't know. Nobody probably knows that church socials even nowadays. But anyway. Okay. Number 9.
Number 9. I called it the makeup scene because Sidney and Billy make up. Billy arrives at the party to reconcile with Sidney. He wants to come there to convince her he's not the killer. She opens up about her mother and her fears. They're upstairs. And they eventually have sex. So finally, this is the scene where Billy gets to have sex with Sidney.
Yeah.
But they have a very, deep conversation, which throws the viewer off to thinking, oh, he's completely innocent. He's so kind and loving and caring. And this is where she says that the reason why she didn't want to really have sex is because she didn't want to end up like her mother. And she's realizing that her mother was a slut. And she's scared to turn out like her. And Billy, he comforts her and tells her everything's going to be okay. But downstairs, the group is watching Halloween. And they're getting into the movie. Some of them like it, some of them don't. Stu is downstairs with them, and this is where Randy explains the rules of horror movies. And I remember when we did Evil Dead, I watched some interviews, and these were actually the rules. You can never have sex because sex equals death. And we've seen that lots of times in horror movies. People will be getting it on.
Especially Friday the 13th.
Uh-huh.
But yes.
You can never drink or do drugs. Never say, I'll be right back. And as Randy says that last rule, Stu jokes and says, I'll be right back. Because he says, does anybody need a beer? I'm going to get a beer. I'll be right back. And Randy warns him. He says, I warned you. Meanwhile, Gail and Kenny watch from the van. They're watching what's going on in the home. Dewey joins Gail to investigate a nearby car. So Dewey comes over and says, there's a car, abandoned car. I'm going to go check it out. So Gail goes to investigate with him, which it turns out to be Sidney's father's car. Now everything is turning back to Stu and Billy. Or at least Billy at this point, but we don't know that yet. Back at the house, Ghostface appears and pretends, but I thought it was real. I thought Ghostface killed Billy. Looks like he got him and Sidney were getting dressed after sex and having a little conversation. And he leans over the bed and seems to stab Billy, and Billy falls to the ground. Sidney escapes, and that's when she sees Tatum's body outside, hanging from the garage door. Kenny is then killed outside of the van. His throat is slit. Gail crashes while trying to escape. So Gail is now trying to escape. And what happened is that the teenagers found out that the principal was murdered. So they jumped in their cars and they were going to go check it out. And Gail crashes while trying to escape. Dewey is stabbed on the front porch. There's a lot going on here. Fill me in. Sidney is attacked again and struggles in the police car with Ghostface. So she locks herself in the car. And then Ghostface is standing outside of the car, dangling the keys. I got you. And then she locks the doors. He unlocks it. She locks it again. And he unlocks it again. Ultimately, Ghostface is in the back seat and tries to attack Sidney, but she escapes.
Yes.
There's a lot in that scene.
Yes. What was I going to say? Yeah, I was gonna mention we almost get to see Neve Campbell's boobs, but we don't.
She actually, I remember a long time ago, she doesn't do nude at all. It's in her contract. She's not that type to do any nudes in her movie scene. So that's why we don't get to see it. Yeah.
Sad. I don't think Courtney Cox has ever been topless in any movies I've ever seen either, I don't think. Not that we need to see it. I'm just saying that I don't think she has either.
Yeah.
I would say that. So. Okay, so there was that. Oh, and when Dewey and Gail were kissing, because they fell. Why did they fall again? Were they?
Oh yes, I can't remember now.
The guys were racing to go see Fonzie's.
Yeah,
body.
the principal. And that's it.
They jumped into the ditch or whatever.
And then they landed on top of each other, and that's when they found the car, right?
Yeah, and they kissed a little bit there or whatever. And it came to my mind, is that a gun in your pocket, or are you just happy to see it there? And so when they came back from the car and they were running, and Gail had heels on, she was running pretty good in those heels. Can you run in heels?
I used to be able to. I don't know if I can anymore.
Because most movies, you'll see the girls will take off the heels and carry them because they can't run in them. But she did a pretty good job running in those heels for a little bit. Anyway,
I'm sure they probably did that take 20, 25 minutes.
Maybe. Or maybe it wasn't even her. It could have been a stunt person. I'm not even
Could have been.
But they look like her. But anyway. Okay, so my song for this scene is it's mostly about how they're trying to catch her, even though that also comes in the next scene too. But anyway, so in this scene, I put my song this is my second Motorhead song, and it's The Chase is Better Than the Catch, which I might have also used in another episode. Because
I don't feel like you did, but
maybe not. It's hard to remember. But anyway, yeah, so the chase is better than the catch, because when they do catch her, you know what happens, which we will find out in the next scene.
Okay, my song, Atrocities from Beyond by Analepsy.
Okay, is this? Oh, it's not that long. Okay, here we go. The finale.
So in this scene, we find out who the killers are. Stu and Randy return. And Sidney arms herself at this point. So they run up to the house and say, well, Randy's the innocent one here. And he says, Stu's gone mad and we need to get out of here. And they're trying to convince her to leave. But Billy's upstairs. We think he's dead. So it's just Stu and Randy, and they're trying to get Sidney to leave the house. Billy then reappears at the top of the steps, and he's alive, which is hard to believe after he got stabbed and fell to the ground. He then falls down the stairs, and he and Stu then reveal themselves as the killers, because then we see Billy stands up and he's licking the blood and saying it's corn syrup. This is where the psychological part of the movie kicks in. But first he convinced her to give the gun first to him. So now Billy has the gun and he shoots Randy, right?
Yes.
The killers reveal their motive to her at this point. She runs into the kitchen. Sidney's mother had an affair with Billy's father, leading to his mother leaving and abandoning him, and he reveals that to her. They also confess to killing her mother and framing Cotton Weary. We don't know for sure if it was Stu or Billy, though, that raped her. But then they bring in Sidney's father, who is tied up, and they've been holding him captive. So now we find out where her father was all along. They had taken him and held him captive. But the weird part is that they still want to claim their innocence, so they start stabbing each other to stage their alibi.
Yes.
Gail appears with the gun that she is she stole off the counter, but she doesn't know how to use a gun. She didn't flick off the safety and ends up losing that battle because he takes the gun away from her. Sidney then fights back, stabs Billy, and kills Stu by dropping a TV on him. And Stu says, Sidney, I always had a thing for you. And she dumps the TV on his face, ultimately killing him. Randy survives. How does Randy survive after what they did?
Did he got stabbed or he got shot? What?
I thought he got shot in the chest because Billy he convinced Sidney to give the gun.
I think maybe it must not have been the chest then. I guess he must have got shot in the shoulder. I don't really know if I looked at closely.
But he survives.
Yeah.
Billy attacks one last time, but is shot by Gail. Now she figured out how to use the gun. Sidney shoots him again to ensure he's dead because Randy says, in all horror movies, they come back one last time. And he did. He woke up after being shot. And so Sidney shoots him again. Then the film ends with Gail reporting live. She got her story after all, concluding the Woodsboro massacre. So now we know Cotton wasn't really the killer. It was Billy and Stu who had staged all of this and played this psychological thing on everybody to make them look innocent for what they did. But Billy has some mommy issues for sure.
Yes. And they did. Yeah, they had her dad and they put the phone and the voice changer thing or whatever the hell that is in his pocket. And and then they stabbed each other. I'm trying to find, because I find that this part, the last part, is where the movie gets funny. There might have been a few comical parts earlier, but not too much.
Well, Sidney ends up taking the voice changer and calling Billy.
Yes.
Yeah, that was pretty funny when she called Billy and he was pissed because she had left the scene and he's having a fit and rage, tearing up the house because they wanted to kill her for her mother sleeping with his father. But she ends up taking the voice changer.
Yes, because they were going to kill Gail because, like you said, Gail had the gun, but she didn't know how to use or she didn't have the safety off. And so they had the gun pointed at her, but then he realized that Sidney was gone, so they didn't shoot. They ended up not shooting her.
That's right. I might have said that they shot Gail, but they didn't. That's right.
No. She did. She got, or they hit her or something anyway, knocked her out, whatever. But they didn't end up shooting her because
they knocked her out and she landed on top of Dewey. That's what happened.
Yes. But I'm not really finding what I want to say. But anyway, but it got funny when they're stabbing each other and that guy's, forget the name here, Billy? Is it? No, Billy is her boyfriend. Is it? Who's the guy that you like? Stu? Is that his name? But anyway, he was the one that was making he's screaming and whatever. And then he's going, I'm getting woozy or whatever. He says something like that in there. And he throws the phone at him and it hits him or something. And he goes,
Billy says, take the call. You take the call. And she says, Sidney's on the phone and saying, well, how are you going to explain this to police? And he says something of I'm so sensitive. I can't, post-traumatic stress.
But anyway, it was funny when he threw the phone at him and he's saying, that hurt or whatever, even though he's already been stabbed 2 or 3 or 4 times. Then he goes, that hurt.
Yeah. And then at the end, after Billy is shot, her father stumbles into the scene and she completely forgot about her father. She got stunned like something was going to happen to her, but it was her dad who was like, hey, what about me? You guys forgot about me. So but Gail, I'm so proud of Gail. She ended up getting her story after all.
Yes, and helping out. And I hope Sidney apologized for punching her in the face.
Yeah. And now Sidney's well aware of who the actual killers were because they were mocking and taunting her in the kitchen. And Billy had referenced the movie Psycho as well.
Yes.
So he was using a lot of the elements of that movie to stage this whole thing.
Yeah. And when I'm not sure if this was in the last scene, this is where I made a note of it anyway. But because her cameraman was killed or whatever.
Yeah.
And Gail couldn't find him. And then she saw all the blood and realized that he'd been killed, but she didn't see the body. But she got in the vehicle to try to drive away to the van. And then he was on top of the van and started falling down the window.
Yes, and that's when she crashed. I think she crashed the vehicle.
She said, "Get off my fucking windshield," or whatever. She says, "I'm sorry, but get the fuck off my windshield."
She turned the wipers on and it was all blood. Yeah. And then that's when he slid down into the windshield and she's like, "Get the fuck off my vehicle." Then she ended up crashing it.
Yeah, so that's really the only extra note I put in, except for all the funny crap the guy was saying. And yeah.
And then we see that Dewey ends up surviving in the end because he's being taken away by the ambulance.
Yes, yes. I think I don't know if he's in every movie too or not. I know he's in some of the other Screams. I'm not really sure. Like I said, I don't think I've seen them all. Or he was in a lot. I mentioned, he's in the most recent one with Courtney Cox too. Yeah, and I guess Neve Campbell is also in it too. Yes, because she's been in every one. Yeah, I think. Yeah, even though she doesn't watch horror movies in real life, and she doesn't really like horror movies, which is always fun.
I think most of all of these actors don't, and I think that's what, like I said earlier, there was like a mashup of Hollywood actors who don't really like or act in horror movies, and they all got together to do this.
In this thing I was watching on YouTube, one of the questions was, "What's your favorite horror movie?" And she said The Changeling. I think, I don't know if I've seen that or not. I know I've seen the name before, but she says I don't really watch horror movies much. And in some other old thing, she said she liked The Shining, which is a horror movie, but it's more of
I love The Shining,
psychology, whatever movie. But they did ask the guy, I don't remember. Oh, I guess that guy was in the movie 13 Ghosts, the guy that you like. He was in a movie called The 13 Ghosts. But from his, I don't think he liked the movie very much, so he said.
Yeah, I think Matthew Lillard is more of a comedy type actor.
Yeah.
Because he plays the same personality in every movie he's been in, that goofy, raunchy type personality.
And I guess he was in Friday Night at Freddy's or something. Is that what it's called? I haven't seen it.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Five Nights at Freddy's. He's in.
My son used to be obsessed with that.
He's in. I don't know, but whatever. But he mentioned that in his thing too. Anyway, sorry, getting off track here. Okay, so my song for this. Now, my song goes to the part where they're telling the story of how they framed him and how they're going to frame her dad and the story that they're explaining to her or whatever. That's where I picked my song. So I have an Ozzy Osbourne song, Diary of a Madman, because I thought they're telling the story. And that's like whatever. That's their diary of madmen, not a madman. But anyway, there you go.
I chose Autopsychosis by Catalepsy.
Autopsychosis.
Yes, because it's very psychotic. And they do reference Psycho. And Billy is extremely psychotic. Extremely. If you want to say crazy ex-boyfriend, that is a crazy ex-boyfriend right there.
So he wanted to have sex with her. But did he want to have, I don't really understand all the backstory here. Did he become her boyfriend? Her boyfriend because he wanted to get back at her because of what her mom did to her.
I think he's just a rapist. I think he raped her mom.
Yes.
I think he's the one who raped her mother.
Yes, but did he start dating her? But he was already dating her then because it was supposedly
for
2 years that they were dating. But it was something about that he wanted to have sex with her So I didn't know. Then they'd had sex, but then they end up still wanting to kill her. I don't
Probably
really.
just to shame her. Probably just to take her virginity. Because remember, he said
Yeah.
Stu was making fun of her, saying, he took your virginity, huh?
Yeah. How do they know that? But anyway, yeah.
I think it was just to shame her even further.
And we didn't. And I don't think we talked about this while we were recording. We talked about this before. But so they're the ones that killed Drew Barrymore at the start, but we don't really know why, or if it was just
maybe it was just a distraction away from.
Yeah, and
kind of distract away from being.
But they never ever. I don't think they, as far as I can remember, they never mentioned that in the movie where he never said, "Oh,
no, they never
killed her, him," and
there was no reason behind it.
And nobody even said, "Are you the ones that killed them?" Because they didn't even say that either.
Yeah, no, there was no reason behind it, really. It wasn't her boyfriend, Steve, the captain of the football team.
Yes, he was on the football team anyway. I don't know.
Yeah, because when she was on the phone with the killer, she says, "My boyfriend's going to be here soon, and he's going to kick your ass. He's the captain of the football team." But there was no reason why that happened.
Yeah,
no. If anybody knows, let us know.
Yes. Like maybe they mentioned it in the next movie or something, but it's been a long time since I've watched the first, 3 or 4 Scream movies, except for number 1, of course, watched. Anyway, okay, so I have some notes. I might have already mentioned some of them. Yes, it was called Scary Movie first, Kevin Williamson's script. It was called Scary Movie, and then they changed it. And that, of course, got recycled for the parody franchise, which I think is a new Scary Movie coming out this year, unless it's already out. I don't know. But I've seen something about that. I'm not sure what they're making fun of now exactly, but I love all of those ones. Let's see. Supposedly, the movie was partly inspired by a real murder case. The story was sparked after we watched coverage of the Gainesville murders. Whatever, I don't know. That's more of an American thing. Originally, Drew Barrymore was going to play Sidney Prescott.
Oh, see, we're discussing that
But
earlier.
she chose to play Casey Becker instead. But it doesn't say why. I don't know. So I don't understand that. Why wouldn't you want to play the character that survives the movie?
Maybe she doesn't like horror movies. She's just got me in there, kill me off so I can be done.
I guess. I don't know. She would have been in 6 more movies, maybe. I don't know. As long as, because Neve Campbell did a good job, but it's also good actresses. Like Courtney Cox could have been that part too. She
didn't look like a teenager.
No, I guess she was a little older. But let's see. The Ghostface mask was not custom made for the film. It says, wait, maybe this is answering what I said before.
Maybe.
The mask was found during location scouting in a house, and the filmmakers realized it had the right creepy look. Okay, that doesn't really necessarily answer my question. So, I don't know. They're saying that the mask existed before they made the movie. But, okay.
Maybe it did.
But I don't think it was at every Walmart store.
No, it was not at Spirit Halloween even.
Let's see. Roger Jackson was the voice of that. They supposedly had the voice changer, but it was really a guy named Roger Jackson doing that voice.
Oh, wow.
It says that he kept the cast uneasy when he would talk like that or something. So he must not have used a voice changer himself. He just disguised his voice or whatever. I don't know who Roger Jackson is, obviously. I don't think he's an actor. He just worked on the movie. Let's see. Scream helped drag slashers back into the mainstream in the 90s. I could see that, yes. Let's see. One of the best jokes in the original is that Stu is standing there listening to Randy explain how to survive a horror movie, while Stu himself is one of the people doing the killing. That is one of the reasons fans still quote that scene almost 30 years later. Let's see. Scream 2 had to deal with script leaks, so you had to make sure you didn't. And I don't know, there was some weird thing with Stab. They had a movie inside the Scream movie. I'm not sure if that was the second one or not, but they had the movie called Stab. which they were watching inside the Scream movie. Weird. And you already mentioned the thing about Wes Craven as Freddy Krueger, the janitor.
Mm-hmm.
I know, like I said, there's more movies. I know Jenna Ortega. I think that's how you pronounce her name from the movie Wednesday, or from the TV shows Wednesday or whatever. She was in a couple of these
Oh, yeah.
later Scream movies. And there was also a Scream TV series, but I think it only lasted one season.
I didn't see it. Did you?
I think I did watch it, and I guess it was okay, but it was just more people wearing a mask, who's wearing the mask and killing people, whatever. You can't really get anything original anymore. Okay, I think that's all I got there anyway. I don't know if there was anything special. I'm sure this is the most popular Scream movie, I'm assuming. Usually is the first one of a movie.
The first one is usually, yes, the most popular.
Yeah, I don't
Mhm.
know. Oops. Let me just see if it says anything. What is this called? Scream?
And Neve Campbell, David Arquette, and Courtney Cox have central roles in the first 4 films.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So they have supporting roles in the 5th film. And Courtney Cox, actually, let me see. I think I'm trying to look at the 5th and 6th films should focus to half sisters.
Half sisters?
Yeah.
There was something about that. I know they always said young, good looking girls.
I don't know if Courtney Cox was in those ones though.
I don't think she was. Holy crap. I guess there's nothing here about how much money it made, or I can't find. But yeah. Anyway. Okay. Oh wait, there it is. Sorry. Budget was 14 million and they made 173 million
Wow.
just with this movie. So I don't know about.
It's still popular today, so.
Yes. And yeah, and I guess and I don't think we like she's one of the first final girls, I guess Neve is, especially Neve. Sorry. I call it. But like she was asked about that in that thing I saw on YouTube, and she says Jamie Lee Curtis from Halloween is like, I don't know, I wouldn't call her the first final girl, but she was one of the first final girls that was in multiple movies, of course, because Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that girl was a final girl, but that's the only Texas Chainsaw Massacre she was in. So it's not like she was a recurring character in this series of movies. And I guess there was no final girl in Evil Dead, right? Because they were all killed.
The final guy.
And of course, Nightmare on Elm Street had that girl that was a final girl in a lot of movies. Again, I don't think I've seen them all. But anyway, so anything else you want to add here about Scream?
I think you covered it all. What are we doing
I
next?
think we got it. Okay. Oh, we never picked our next movie either, did we? Oh,
No.
Because I don't think I have one off the top of my
It's your
head.
turn.
Well, what was the other movie we were thinking of? You picked Scream. What was the other? Oh, we can do The Hills Have Eyes next. You want to do that?
Yes, I'd love to do that one.
The original Hills Have Eyes.
Okay.
Because there is somebody remade it. I hate when they remake it, even though I did watch it.
I don't like remakes. I don't do remakes.
Like that they do that. But anyway, yeah. So The Hills Have Eyes. Yes. Even though it's been years since I've watched that one too, but yes.
It has.
That's the next one we do. Okay. Yeah. If you're listening, please subscribe or follow or whatever. We're on Instagram, like we've said, and it's on Facebook, but honestly, I haven't updated it in months. I just don't Facebook too much. But
yeah, we're more on Instagram.
Yes, we're on Instagram there. And if you want to listen on YouTube, it's on the Metal Pits YouTube page if you want to just listen to it on there. But it's all audio. Okay. Okay, Loni, thank you. And we will see everybody. We won't see anybody. We'll hear everybody, or you'll hear us in next episode. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
You were listening to Someone's in My Fruit Cellar podcast. Subscribe and rate our podcast wherever you listen to our podcast. Podcast edited by Blake. Visit our socials. Till next time.